So, Shannon, are LaMelo and MJ a good match?
Man, look here. Skip, all I'm trying to see is LaVar and MJ get this one-on-one on. I mean, LaVar been calling this thing out, so it's right there now. So let's go on and get this thing on and put this to the side, and we're going to move forward. In all seriousness, Skip, LaMelo is not going to have the day-to-day. Mike is not coaching the team. So he's not going to be in day-to-day contact with LaMelo. I just think the thing is, like, LaMelo just, and Skip, everybody, even the greats that came after Michael and met him has says what? He's a godlike figure. From Shaq to LeBron to everybody is in awe of him. Now, the difference is LaMelo was 2 years old when Jordan retired.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have maybe he doesn't have the same mystique or aura.
I don't know. He knows the shoes.
Yeah. He's still Michael Jordan.
I know.
And you still wanted those Jordan shoes,
Yeah,
and they
do.
came from somewhere.
Yep.
Skip, is it a good match? I don't understand how it would be a bad match. I just think the thing is, for me, is that because Michael is who he is, he had to have signed off on this. Skip, kind of like, for the most part, most owners are not Michael Jordan. They didn't play the game at the elite level. Well, he's the only one that played the game at an elite level. I don't think any other owners played
No.
back. Maybe in high school, but not to this degree, Skip. And so for me, is it a bad fit? I don't understand how it would be a bad fit. I really don't, Skip. As long as he doesn't go in there with the expectations that I need to impress Mike, that I need to show this, just go be you. Grow, get better and better every day, put the time in. And so for me, I think it's a great fit. We knew these top three guys was going to go. We didn't know particular order. It was going to be Wiseman, Edwards, or Melo, Edwards, or Wiseman. But it's funny, Skip, this is the second guy with a very unorthodox shot that Mike has taken with the top three pick. Kid Gilchrist in 2012, and now LaMelo in 2020. So
Did Kid Gilchrist even have a shot? I don't know if it was unorthodox. It was non-existent, right?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
And so, but Skip, I just think the thing is that he had such a high grade on him. And it wasn't like, okay, we knew AD was going first in that draft. That was 2012. Okay, Bradley Beal went third. I think Dame Lillard went 8th. You also had Draymond in that draft. So, Skip, it wasn't like a slam dunk, okay, we got a guy. This is the #1 undoubted pick.
Yep.
There was none of that. And these were the top 3 rated guys, and you was going to get whomever was left at the time you were selecting, you were going to take that guy. So I like the selection. I just hope Melo comes in, keeps his head down, and continue to work like he's done to get to this point. And if he does, I don't think MJ being his owner is going to be a problem.
Okay. Not only do I think it's not going to be a problem, I love this fit. This, for me, was a match made in hoop heaven. LaMelo plus MJ. They needed each other, and I doubted they were going to be able to connect because I still thought right up to game time last night, first pick in the draft, I just thought Minnesota will finally say, he's the most talented kid on the board. We got to do it. We need the box office, if nothing else. And then I thought Golden State, and we're going to talk about this horrible development in a moment, but with Clay's injury, and we don't know exactly how bad it is, but it sounds really bad. I thought maybe they would switch off and say, we just got to take this kid. We got to take LaMelo because we might need him next year to pair him and let him play off Steph a little bit, right? That didn't happen, and I was joyful that he fell to MJ. Why does LaMelo need MJ? Well, look, I know this is impossible, but if I could pour 2 ounces of whatever's inside MJ into this kid, 2 ounces of killer will, I might have something that would be MVP caliber. I might have a player who could eventually carry the Charlotte Hornets, as woeful as they've been under Jordan, might be able to carry him to the conference finals, or dare I say, maybe even to the NBA finals.
Well, Skip, do you think it might be too much weight? Because think about all the other guys that's come through there. I mean, you do have that guy sitting on the baseline. That Steve Ballmer sitting on the baseline is one thing. He ain't the logo.
LaMelo has been told since he was a baby that he was going to be MJ.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Yes.
seriously.
I believe, yes.
He has been conditioned to believe with all his heart and soul from his father, and I believe his mother, Tina, also. You are going to be great, great.
Yes.
Listen, LaVar sat right here 4 years ago. It wasn't on TV. It was in a break. But he said, my youngest, he said, he's going to be by far the best.
Right.
And I believe LaVar believes that with all his heart and soul.
Yep.
And I see the potential greatness. I see the flair. I see the creativity. I see the athletic ability. I see the passing gift that Lonzo has. I see all that. I also see a broken shot just like Lonzo.
Right.
His is weird, different. It's a two-hand push shot.
Right.
He was 20 of 80 in Australia in that pro league. 20 of 80, that's 25%. It won't work at the next level. It'll only get worse before it gets better. So I don't love any of that, and I don't love it that he hasn't even, no one's even introduced defense to him yet. So Michael will become another father figure, big brother, however you want to look at it, that I think will instill some of the proper intangibles in him. And again, you might argue back, you can't teach intangibles. I think being around greatness can rub off. And he'll go to practice, and he'll pull the kid aside, and he'll have him up to the office occasionally. Maybe they'll grab a lunch occasionally, and maybe slowly, by osmosis, just being around greatness, it will start to hit home with this kid, because his potential greatness is obviously completely unbridled, unfocused, undisciplined. It's unmade yet, but it's there.
Right.
He's 6'7", and he might still be growing. He might be a 6'8" point guard who can also score the basketball.
Right.
Once upon a time at Chino Hills, he scored 92 points in a game, and I don't care how much you cherry pick, it's hard to score 92.
Yes.
You have to have some gift of scoring ability. And he does.
Well, that was the beginning of the no defense.
Okay,
It might have started in that game. It might have been ruined, but once you get 92, like, I kind of like it.
And that was kind of LaVar coaching the team, even though he wasn't an official coach.
Right.
And it was all three brothers together, and they went 35-0 and won the California State Championship.
Well, Skip, that was the following year, because remember, LaMelo had broke the record, scored 72, and then he got hurt, and then Melo come back a couple of games later, get 92.
Here we go. Okay, so why does Michael need Melo? Look, I'm, as you well know, above anybody else, I'm the biggest Michael Jordan fan on the planet, but that's as a player.
Right.
As a team builder, he's been the all-time worst. So he went from greatest to worst.
Right.
Because 15 years he has overseen the basketball operation in Charlotte, his home area, home state. And they love him there, obviously, but they do not love what has happened, because they've made the playoffs 3 times in 15 years. Think about that, 3 times. And they lost all 3 first-round series. They got swept twice. And their overall record in the playoffs is now 3-12. That ties Minnesota for the worst playoff winning percentage over the last 15 years. Right. And even if you look at the records of the teams that made the playoffs, it was a 7-7 seed, 7-7, and a 6. And they were 44-38, 43-39. One year they were 48-34. So they haven't even lit it up in years that they made the playoffs. Right. They've eked in. Okay? It's the all-time embarrassment and humiliation for Michael Jordan. And now he has the greatest show on earth. He's got Ball in the family.
Right.
He's got LaVar, and he's got LaMelo, and the whole Ball, dare I say, mystique, or whatever you want to call it, the phenomenon.
Yes.
And it's a great sideshow for him, because I will tell you this: I will be watching Charlotte games next year, and I'll bet you will too.
Yeah, I want to see how well he does in a real structured environment.
Exactly. And the team is not very good, and it wasn't very good last year. But
I like Graham, the rookie.
Hey, Devontae Graham had a breakout year. He was 18 and 8 assists.
Right.
I'm not sure how much he's going to enjoy playing with or off.
The Williams kid from Kentucky.
Washington.
PJ
Washington. Yeah. And Miles Bridges is not bad, and Cody Zeller is not bad. I thought Malik Monk was going to mount to something, and he's having all kinds of problems. And you know, you look, Terry Rozier's there and scored 18 a game last year. So I don't know. You know what? It's watchable.
Right.
If you put LaMelo in the mix, at least for me, it might be must see.
But Skip, in order for what you hope to happen for Charlotte, LaMelo's going to have to be a superstar, because you said you win with superstars. You do. And they have some nice players, but they don't have a superstar. And I think the thing is, Mike is going to have to get the #1 pick, because the Skip is easy, because we can look back and say, okay, Mike was in the 2 slot. It'd have been interesting to see, had Portland been in the 2 slot, would they have taken Dame Lillard with the 2nd pick, or would they have gone the 3 highest graded players on the board like everybody else was going to do? That's the question, Skip, because easy, when you're in the 8th spot, you're like, okay, we like this kid. People are not going to look at us crazy.
No.
But when you're in the top 3 and you take a guy that high and people are like, hold on, wait a minute. Dame, it turned out to be obviously the second best. I believe he's the second best player in that draft, behind AD. But Bradley Beal, could he have taken Bradley Beal? Sure, but everybody had Kill Griggers, just like Adam Morris. Adam Morrison.
Yep.
Skip, everybody had.
That was horrendous. I did not. I for one, said that's wrong. I said it before.
Skip, the dude was player of the year in college.
And he wound up crying on the floor when Gonzaga got eliminated. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And then Kwame Brown, Skip. Skip, everybody was going to take Kwame.
I guess so.
Skip, how you 6'10 and a half, 6'11"?
I got it. And he wasn't awful, but he wasn't that guy.
Right.
Okay.
You expect great things at the number 1 overall pick. You think Magic, you think Kareem, LeBron, Shaq.
Okay. Now, back to your opening statement that you were half kidding about. I'm not half kidding when I say I believe LaVar will hear one time from Michael Jordan. And I believe Michael's assistant will inform LaVar that he should show up at LaMelo's first practice, what it was, December 1st, whenever it is. Show up. I'm not kidding about this. This is the Jordan I know. And he will, through his assistant, inform LaVar, wear basketball clothing. You know, come ready to play basketball. And LaVar will be like, what? And when practice is over, maybe there'll be a few media members, and Michael, even at age 57, with a little bit of a pot belly now, and he's smoking way too many cigars for my taste, but I believe he will show up and say, you and I now, right here. 57 versus 53 years old, LaVar.
Man, look here. LaVar probably ain't did no movement like this in a very long time.
I would think
And that's
not.
the last thing that you want to do is go out there and tear a calf muscle or pop an Achilles. But I ain't fooling with Mike. Mike, I was just joking. You got it.
Okay.
And I'm going to keep it moving.
Okay. Because once upon a time, LaVar said, I would have killed him. And he was talking about when they were both in their primes, right? I would have killed him in one-on-one. Killed him?
I mean, look, LaVar would go probably try to play football while Michael's out there trying to play basketball. Because LaVar's a big man. I mean, you look at him now in his 50s, he's a big man. Mm-hmm. So you could imagine he was still a big man in his 20s.
Well, he played tight end in the National Football League for a minute.
Yeah.
Just for a minute.
Well, he was on the Jets practice squad, and then I think he was on Carolina for a minute. So obviously he has the physicality, but he ain't beat Mike in no one-on-one.
Hey, I tweeted this last night. In their primes, Michael could have beaten him blindfolded in one-on-one because I saw Michael, that Corey Benjamin kid who made the statement, this is the year Michael retired, and they drafted Corey Benjamin at the bottom of the first round from, was it Oregon State, I think it was, and on draft night he said, oh, my only regret is that Mike's not here so I could have beaten him in one-on-one, and it was mid-season that year at the Berto Center where they practiced. Michael just shows up out of the blue and sweats. Tim Floyd's the new coach. He's like in awe of like, welcome, Mr. Jordan. And Michael says, would you mind if I played your kid one-on-one when you guys finish? No, if it's okay with him. And, of course, what's Corey Benjamin going to say? No, I'm going to run from it.
He done opened his mouth now.
I watched it. It was destruction, absolute annihilation.
Skip, you know how that is. I mean, when you think you're great, if you take the best basketball player and you put him on a football field, the worst corner will D him up. Mm-hmm. If you take the best football player and put him on a basketball court, the worst basketball player will light him up.
Sure.
You don't get me just because you're great in one sport, think you can cross into another sport and be great. It doesn't work like that.
I think LaVar played college basketball at Cal State LA. That's where he met his wife, Tina, because she was on the women's team.
Yeah, so I get maybe it was Washington State. Didn't he go to Washington State?
He wound up there to play football. Yeah, I thought.
So I think that's where he met. I think that's where he met her.
LaVar's got kind of a hazy background.
So that's probably why Melo went all over the place, because LaVar has traveled as well as a young man too, trying to find out what he's going to do later in life. But Skip, I mean, I like the pick. I just hope the kid, and we're going to talk about LaVar and his influence on these kids in another segment. Yep. But I like the pick, and I just hope LaVar has been said, hey, he's going to be good. He's going to be good. He's going to be better than the oldest. He's going to be bigger than the oldest. He has more. He said I think he had a brother that's like 6'9", 6'8", 6'9", and so. Yep. Skip, look, that's a large figure, man. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. And Skip, you get that. Because think about it. You like when Magic was around. Man, that's a large figure for someone. Even for LeBron. But if you're not LeBron James, Skip, and you see Magic Johnson standing over there with his arms folded on the wall, you see that guy with the bald head and the dark eyes standing on. Skip, that's a large figure looming.
Yeah, Magic was just as large
Yes.
to me because it was Lakers for Lonzo. You mean?
Yes.
And Magic announced at the opening media session. His jersey will one day hang in these rafters.
Yes.
It will?
Yes.
Whew.
That's an awful lot, but I just hope Melo just goes in there, bees himself. And I don't think it's Skip. Look, the way his dad has brought him up, he understands who Michael Jordan is, but I just think that he just wants to go in there and show that, okay, you took me with the third pick. Let me show you why.
I just don't think the spotlight is too bright
No,
for
no,
these
no,
kids because they've lived in a fishbowl their whole
For the
life.
last 4 years,
right?
they got their own TV show, Ball in the Family, and
Yep.
he's all over. He was all over I think he's prepared for this moment now.
He will be prepared.
18 years old, got to get he already got a bank account. But hey.
So to your point, going into this draft, there's no Shaq, there's no Magic, there's no LeBron, and yet Anthony Edwards to me is fine. He's a solid pick for Jenny's Timberwolves, but he's just okay. It's like he's not going to change your life. And I like James Wiseman more than I did Anthony Edwards. But will James Wiseman change life in Golden State? I don't think so. If anybody could potentially reach greatness, it's this kid. He's the most talented.
Right.
He's just got all kinds of flaws that got to get fixed pretty quickly, or this league will eat him alive like Lonzo got eaten alive for his rookie year.
Yeah, but Skip, how do you change a shot? The guy he's been shooting that shot for 18 years.
I don't know.
How do you break it down? It's like, okay,
Lonzo changed his last year. It took 3 years, but he started changing it. And guess what? He shot 38% from three last year in an abbreviated season.
So do you tinker with it out the box, or you
Maybe.
just let him go?
That's up to the GOAT. The GOAT's got a big decision to make because I would tinker immediately. I'm going to get my shot doctor, my shooting guru in there, and I'm going to try to fix it sooner than later. You can't let it linger because it doesn't work. And my only issue with LaVar has been from the start. You cared so much about these kids. How did you let both of them shoot so unorthodox a shot that by the time they get to pro basketball, it's just broken?
Skip, it was going in.
I guess so. He did. Again, I kept telling you, why did I love Lonzo coming out of UCLA? He made 41% from the college three-point line.
I give you a prime example, Skip. If you watch the way Tyreek runs, his form is, you shouldn't run like that.
Yep.
But when you run 20.9 in high school and you run 10-2, 10-3 in high school,
I'll buy that.
You leave that alone. Skip, we'll let somebody else fix it. And then when you get to college, if he goes pro, we'll let a professional get. And that's what they did with LaMelo. The high school's like, well, if he goes to college, we'll let them fix it. And if he goes to the NBA, we'll let them fix it. And everybody just keep kicking the can down the road until here we are.
But running is one thing. It's just like God's gift. You just do it. You just run the way you run, and if it works, it works.
Yeah,
but a shot is such a delicate motion that requires touch.
Right.
And repeatability that it better be right. You better be able to trust it under fire.
I give you a prime example, Phillip Rivers.
Yep.
Skip, you shouldn't throw the ball like Phillip Rivers.
No.
You should have the over. You should have
I can't even describe how it works, but it works.
It's like, yeah.
Okay.
But like you said, it worked for, over 60,000 yards.
60,000 yards. Well, maybe this kid will work, but again, it's not even working at the lower level.
Well, Jamal Wilkes had an unorthodox shot, Skip. Remember the round the head?
Do I? I thought Larry Bird's was a little bit unorthodox because it's completely
because he couldn't even see the ball.
No. I hope, but again, I'm very happy for both of them.
I am too.
And I'll be watching.
Yep.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.